Being unemployed sucks. It's not fun. Nobody wants to be unemployed. We want to work. We want to stay productive. We want to have purpose in our lives. But there will come a time in your life that you may be unemployed. My name is Moses from Southern California, and in today's video, I want to talk about how I manage unemployment anxiety. Currently, I am unemployed. If you've seen my last video, I discussed how I was a former medical student, but I'm now living at home again and I'm unemployed. It's a situation that I knew I was getting myself into, but now I am trying to navigate it. And although I kind of knew that I would get myself into this situation, it doesn't make it any easier. It is still very difficult to navigate through. So you might ask yourself, am I doing something wrong, right? I've applied to many jobs, but no calls. Unemployment this year is expected to rise. I believe right now at the national level, it's about 3.7%. Here in California, where I live, it's at 5.2%. And it's expected to kind of pretty much rise this year. It could be because of the election. The economy, again, is just gonna deteriorate a little bit during the election year. But that's okay. It's something that we're expecting. It's something that we should be familiar with at this point. According to flexjobs.com, on average, it takes about 3 to 6 months from start to finish to get a job. And you have approximately an 8.3% probability of getting a job interview from one job application. That means it could take as many as 10 to 20 applications to get one interview. And on top of that, it can take 10 to 15 interviews just to get that one job offer. So as you can see, it is a very long process. The rise in technology with the rise of advanced AI, employers are making it a little bit more difficult to find a job, but that's not to say that it's impossible to find a job. So let's look at that again. According to flexjobs.com, you have an 8.3% probability of getting a job interview from one job application. Now, this is just one job interview. There could be multiple job interviews, but that's from one application. You have an 8.3% probability. So what does that tell you? I mean, if you're looking to get 5 job offers, right? If you want to get at least 5 job offers, you got to do like over 50 job applications just to get 5 job interviews. Not even offers, it's interviews. So the moral of the story is that finding a job is going to be a full-time job in and of itself. You have to be prepared for that. It's not going to be easy. You have to be proactive. And most importantly, you have to be patient. So what am I currently using for my job search? Well, as of right now, I am mainly using Indeed.com. There are some pros and cons to that. Pro is that there's a lot of job openings. You'd be surprised. There's tons of job openings. And it's fairly easy to apply. Most of the jobs there have like a easily apply option where you just tap on the job description, you click apply now, it gathers your resume that you already upload onto Indeed, and then you can apply. Some jobs do take you directly to their website, so there is kind of a process with that, but give and take, it is pretty easy to apply with Indeed. But with the pros come the cons, right? So a couple of cons that I've noticed is that I have been getting a lot of job rejections, either job rejections or just no responses. And what I mean by no responses is they will show that your application was viewed, and then it just stays there for like a week or two and no response from that. It's just your application was viewed. So it's not really a rejection. It's just more of like a non-acceptance, if that makes sense. Another con that I found with Indeed is that there aren't really any explanations behind your rejection. It just kind of sends you unfortunately, XYZ employer has moved on to the next candidate and you were not selected for the interview. And that's pretty much it. And that could be kind of discouraging. You're applying. Some cases you even add a cover letter and you're still not getting the job. It is kind of discouraging. But if you can stay patient and consistent, this can be something very rewarding for you. Another job site that I am looking into using is Glassdoor. The pros of those, there are some, it's pretty much like Indeed. There's features like it that are just like Indeed. I believe with some of the job openings, they actually kind of take you straight to Indeed. So that's kind of a nice feature. It kind of opens more doors for options of jobs out there. But A con with Glassdoor is that it does also use AI. They use the application tracking system, the ATS, which also uses AI. And that can hurt your chances if your resume is not on par with the job description. So it just makes it kind of tough. Now, aside from Indeed and Glassdoor, I am also looking into government sites, whether it's California state website for jobs or just like US government jobs websites. The pros with government jobs is that these types of websites do help you directly find the agencies and even like the specific departments within an agency that are seeking employees. So that's kind of nice. I mean, it's really hard to know like what the government needs in terms of employees. So it's nice to have these websites that are pretty transparent with that. The cons with government sites and just government jobs in general, the application process is really long. You don't get that whole easily apply and just send out your resume. A lot of them do ask for a lot more details. It involves a lot more paperwork. And once you get past all of that and you get to like the next round, there are background checks, there are clearance policies and procedures that you have to follow. So it does take a little bit longer to get through the government sites. But again, if you can stay patient and consistent, this can be a great option for you, right? You got to just go with the tides and just know that this process takes time. It's not going to be easy. It's not an overnight thing. And nor do you really want that, right? I mean, if you really want a fulfilling job, you're going to want to, make the process a little bit harder. So that way it's not just like they just take anybody with a pulse and that has hands to type, right? So that's something to think about. So with all that being said, and with all of the job search type of strategies that I've been using, what are some ways that I am navigating through this job search, and how am I making this job search less stressful? So what I try to do is I like to go and complete job applications somewhere outside of the house. I feel like if you're stuck inside of a house, it could lower your mood. It could lower your confidence. It can feel like more of a chore rather than something that is bettering your life. So what I like to do is I like to complete my job applications outside of the house. That could be a coffee shop, library, anywhere really that's comfortable and that has a Wi-Fi connection that can do the job. Whatever it is, I just try to be outside of the house as much as possible. Again, I'm trying to make this job search more like a full-time job. So I want to shower, get ready, dress up nice, and go somewhere, sit, be comfortable, have Wi-Fi connection, and just get these applications out. And on top of all of that, what I really try to do, and I hope to encourage you guys to also try to do this, is avoid getting emotionally attached to a position. When I find myself getting emotionally attached to a position, I start to take it personally if I'm rejected from that job. I'm applying to the job, and as I'm applying, I'm thinking to myself, I'm a great fit for this position. They're going to see that and they're going to love me and they're going to want me to work for them. But then when I get the rejection, I feel like a slap in the face, like, wow, I thought this was a good fit. So what I try to do is just detach yourself emotionally from the position, because at the end of the day, a job is a job. Just as we are replaceable at work, the work itself is replaceable for us. We can go and find a different job. So that's something to just keep in mind. Now let's talk about anxiety. So outside of the job search, how am I managing my anxiety? What I found is that my biggest strength with being unemployed is that I have a lot more time. Outside of job searching, there are some ways that I can help to manage my anxiety given the time that I have, the free time that I have now to do so. And the starting point that I think is crucial for continuing on with your unemployment and navigating through that to find a good job is start with a budget. List out the absolute bare necessities that you need to survive. How much do I really need to survive? So things to consider are your shelter, your health, food, and transportation. Shelter, your rent or mortgage. How much is your rent or mortgage? Calculate that. Health insurance. When you're not employed, you probably won't have health insurance. and that's okay. There are ways to get health insurance outside of work. You can go for privatized insurance. You could go for state-sponsored insurance. But at the end of the day, health insurance is still really important to have. So that's something to consider in your budget. Food, obviously, we need energy, we need food and sustenance. So that would include groceries and water. How much do you expect to spend each month on groceries? Is there any room for improvement with that? Can you bring down your grocery list to take off some unnecessary purchases that you don't really need to maintain your health? And that can also reduce your costs and keep your budget stable. And lastly is transportation. Do you still have a car payment? How much is the car payment? Do you have the option to sell the car and dumb down to a cheaper car? Maybe you don't have to make payments on that cheaper car. And of course, insurance. Can you find cheaper insurance if you need it? And if you can afford it, that's great, but just keep that in mind with your budget. So with all of that down and all of the necessities understood, I like to start to think about, okay, what do I need, but what do I currently not have? For example, in my situation right now, my health insurance is kind of rocky. I think I am still on my medical school insurance, but that could change at any moment. So I need to kind of cover my bases and make sure that I still have health insurance. So I may have to resort to government insurance, which is fine. Pros and cons. The pros, it's decent coverage, practically free. The cons, though, is that it's kind of a tedious process. I mean, you're kind of going through the government to get insurance. So there's lots of phone calls to make, paperwork to fill out, applications to fill. And it is kind of a long time process. But at the end of the day, you are going to get decent coverage for free. Secondly, I don't have a car, so I will need to consider getting a car. And this could just be any car. But realistically, I am going to be looking for a car that is not too old, but it's definitely not brand new, and something that I know can last me for 8+ years while I navigate through my career change and whatnot. Getting a car also leads me to my next point. Avoid feeling stuck at home. Now, if you like staying at home, cool. Start a new project that you've been meaning to do for your home, whether that's a room renovation, setting up some new furniture, installing some new cabinets, or you can clean and tidy up your home. And that will not only give you something to do to stay productive, but it will help you stay organized and have peace of mind in the home while you navigate your unemployment. Some things that I do try to work on when I avoid feeling stuck at home. I like to run errands. It helps me stay productive, gives me something to do. And like I mentioned earlier, I like to, do job applications outside of the home. Makes it less boring and tedious, makes it more fun, kind of like you're going into like your little office, even though it's a coffee shop, let's say, but you're kind of going into like a little office. There's a desk, you have your little setup, and you're getting some work done. It helps you feel productive. It gives you that confidence. It gives you that sense of purpose. And it really does help if you do that outside of the home. If you're looking for some side money, if you have time and the resources to get a little side gig going on, there's food delivery, there's Uber delivery, car delivery services essentially that can help you kind of stay afloat financially. You could also get involved at your local church or community center. There you can volunteer, network with others, gain a sense of community. And this is maybe something that you never really had an opportunity to do. So now that you are unemployed, you have more free time, and this is something that you can actually do with your free time. So that's something to also check out. And lastly, I just want to say, like, it's important to try to get some sun. Do something to just kind of be outside for a little bit, even if it's for 5-10 minutes. It really does help to kind of bring your mind back into balance while you go back to the stressful unemployment life. So with that being said, being unemployed can have detrimental effects to your mental health. But with the strategies that I plan to use and that I've described in this video, I hope I provided some ideas and some solutions to help you get yourself back on your feet. If you like this video, please be sure to show some love by giving this video a thumbs up. Feel free to share your ideas and insights down in the comment section down below. And until next time, take care and God bless.